Hello students. So we are going to discuss today about the types of knowledge under the third unit of talent and knowledge management. As you all know that the knowledge is nothing but the information which allows us to take decisions. Generally in day-to-day life everybody of us need to take or need to make decisions, which is a unavoidable situation. Okay. So based upon this information, what you can think of, how we can understand how we are gaining the knowledge based upon various sources, by listening to the people, by watching to the people, by reading the books, by observing so many things in the nature, we will get the knowledge. Such a way, if you think, today we are going to discuss various types of the knowledge, right? Now what are those? The first one is the declarative and the procedural knowledge. The second one is the tacit or explicit knowledge. The third one is general and the specific knowledge. So let us understand about all these variety kinds of knowledges as follows, right? The first one is the declarative and procedural knowledge. So declarative knowledge is a theory kind of knowledge. So being on the bank, one can easily explain how to swim. Just move your hands, legs, you will float on the water. Such a way they define what to call about swimming, what to call the declarative knowledge. Cricket means simply, hitting the ball with a bat. That's it. What you call declarative knowledge. So cycling means what to do. Theoretically, if you use the information, what you call that, which is known as the declarative knowledge. It's all theory, that's it. On the other side, procedural knowledge is nothing but practically how to do that. Practically how to swim. Practically how to ride a cycle. Practically how to fly a kite. Okay. So the declarative knowledge is based on the facts and procedures. So what here the point says, it's absolutely facts means historical information, and how earlier what you called the people did to achieve this information, these things, which is called declarative knowledge. Declarative knowledge is also known as substantive knowledge, which is based on facts. What is the one more name for declarative knowledge? Is substantive knowledge. Declarative knowledge is presented in the form of suggestions and expected relationships shown as variables. So generally in the declarative knowledge, what do you find? You find only pointers, suggestions, that's it. And the related kind of variations, whatever you get, what you call that, variables. The best example is theoretically understanding about swimming, theoretically learning about swimming. Procedural knowledge on the other hand defines procedures and how to do things. Practically it explains how to do that thing, that walk, how to fulfill the task is known as the procedural knowledge. Best examples are practically swimming, practically flying a kite, all this comes under procedural knowledge. Procedural knowledge is based on sequencing or process of accomplishing a task. So in a procedural knowledge, what do you find? You find 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like that sequence of steps. You need to first balance the cycle, and after that you pedal the cycle and slowly it moves forward. Understand what to call this step by step sequencing of steps would be there. The declarative knowledge is about description, procedural knowledge is about application. See. So theoretical way understanding about anything is called declarative, that's it. Which use is going to be very, very less. and practically understanding, okay, how to do that thing is known as procedural knowledge. Declarative knowledge is about know what, procedural knowledge about know how. That's what. The declarative is theory. It explains about understanding what is meant by that. And then procedural knowledge is understanding how actually going to happen. So this is the first kind of knowledge. The next one is the tacit and explicit knowledge. Tacit in the sense nothing will be formed. No actual form would be there, which is completely intangible in nature. I mean to say experiences of a person. Rather than a junior doctor, a compounder will be efficient, for a jab of a vaccine, COVID vaccine. Because he is having tacit knowledge. Compounder would have given hundreds of people the vaccination. But about a junior doctor, he is very new to the profession. So tacit knowledge is a practical and operational type of knowledge. Best example, junior doctors and the senior most compounders. It is acquired through one's own experience and learning. You see, to gain tacit knowledge, what is required? One need to practice hours together, days together, years together. You need to put into that particular environment. Then only you will get a real-time experience. Okay, that's why many of you, when you attend the interviews, you will be having this kind of experience. You got any real-time experience. Theoretically, one may have good knowledge, but the more valid one, the more valuable thing is nothing but the tacit knowledge. It is unstructured, intangible in nature. Step-by-step procedure will not be there when you are, using the tacit knowledge. According to the situation, you react. That's it. One cannot store, one cannot touch. Isn't it? What you call such a kind of thing? Intangible in nature. It can only be taught with the help of apprenticeship model of learning. So to pass on the tacit knowledge to the next generation, what is the best method? Apprenticeship. It's a kind of training method. Best examples are riding a bicycle, playing a sports car. Don't read books for riding a cycle. Don't read to learn how to drive a car. You have to do that work practically. Explicit knowledge, which is present in the form of words and numbers. Okay. Numbers. Explicit knowledge basically refers to the knowledge which is really semi-structured in nature. If you compare with that of the tacit knowledge, somewhat it will have a structure, but still completely you cannot define as a fully structured knowledge. Explicit knowledge can be shared, stored and transferred in different forms like email, voicemail, audio, video, data specifications, manuals, etc. So in the organization, the few kind of knowledges we can share with the juniors, we can share with other people belonging to other departments. These are the various modes of information transfer. It is codified and presented in a format which can be easily adapted, observed and used for learning by others. So transferring kind of situation will be applicable as far as the explicit knowledge is concerned. So by what you call working hard, sometimes what happens, the tacit knowledge can be converted into explicit and vice versa. Best example is stock market investments. You know very well, as per some information, only 2% of the Indian public knows or invests in the stock market. Many of them are afraid of hearing that word stock market. But still, if anyone gets a good command over various activities of the stock market, you can create wealth. So the stock market investments, the kind of operations, the way the bidding will takes place, the shares, the movements of what you call the graphs, all these things can be what you called experiences, can be shared with other people, what you call that explicit knowledge. So this is second type of what you called knowledge, explicit knowledge and tacit knowledge. Now we go for the third type, general and specific knowledge. So general knowledge is the knowledge possessed by a lot of people, where a specific knowledge possessed by small amount of people. Possessed by small amount of people. General knowledge is a common thing which most of the people are aware of. Specific knowledge which only few people possess, and it is quite difficult to transfer it from one person to another person. This is one more mode of what called categorization of the knowledge, general and specific knowledge. The best example here is nothing but the game of cricket. As you all know very well that the cricket is a religion in our country. We enjoy by looking at the matches, understand? But truly, how many of us knows that nitty-gritty of cricket very clearly? I mean to say, the cricket match will be observed by the audience in the stadium and as well as the coach of that particular team. So whatever knowledge about the cricket audience will have very, very less. Generally, they have what you call, what do you mean by game, what do you mean by sixer, what do you mean by hitting a four, that's it. But about the coach is concerned, he will be understanding each and every player of his own team and as well as the opponent team. And he will be informing various strategies to the coach, other players being what you called outside of the what you called match itself. So I mean to say here, the knowledge whatever coach is having is called as a specific knowledge about that area. Specifically he knows. Which is more valuable than general knowledge. Everybody knows about the bike, but how a bike functions, having that knowledge is called as a specific knowledge. So in this world we find handful of people, very less people to have a specific knowledge regarding to any area, isn't it? But we find many more people who knows everything. So who are valuable in the society? The people who are what you call having the specific knowledge. Okay. So these are all called various location of knowledge, or else reservoirs of the knowledge. Okay. Now till now what we came to know? We came to know that where actually understanding about the knowledge and as well as understood what are the variety types of the knowledge. Now we are going to understand what you call where these knowledges are going to be available. Reservoirs. Reservoir means we store water reservoir. Same way knowledge reservoir. We find knowledges in the organizations, in the companies. But how to tap that knowledge at a particular wanted time is very important to get the wanted results. So where do you find knowledge reservoirs? You find among us the people, in the artifacts, in the organizational entities. So these are the broad categorization of what you call availability of the knowledge. Again, under people, whom do you find? You find the individuals and groups. Individuals are the experts of what you called one particular area. Generally, the entire organization sometimes going to depend on these individuals only. Most of the time, the organizations will never change these experts, like CEOs, like MDs. Understand? What do you call individuals? Same groups. Through the teams, through the what you call the group of people also, what will be there? Some kind of knowledge will be what you call gaining by the company. By teamwork. What do you call such a kind of knowledge transfer? Through the groups understanding the knowledge. The next one can find the knowledge is nothing but the artifacts, like practices. The kind of practices one puts into the way generally defines the knowledge reservoirs. Technologies, applied technologies, development, what you call as far as new technology acquaintance is concerned, also shows what you call knowledge reservoirs. In terms of what you call the books, in terms of what you call electronic items, the gain knowledge will be stored, what you call that repositories. Not only that, in the organizational entities also one can have the knowledge in terms of organizational units, organizations, inter-organizational networks. So what do you call these? Location of knowledge or as the reservoirs. So where do you find the knowledge reservoirs? Among is the people only, among is the what you call artifacts, and as well as the organizational entities. The next one is the rise of knowledge worker. Now, as far as the present generation is concerned, one can find the observable transformation from hard work to the smart way of doing the work. What do you call this? Intellectual development. Now the people are there. They can be what you call separated by means of the availability of the knowledge. Professionals will be there. These people are going to be very key persons as far as what you call the organizational success is concerned. Like engineers would be there, doctors would be there. And as a team also people are going to be effective, which are also going to be very effective as far as the development of organization is concerned. Like artisans would be there, weavers would be there. So carefully nurturing their skill set and development is very, very important as far as the future of the organization is called. So rise of knowledge worker. So here what do you say? In fact, as a technology replaces the role of the workers undertaking a repetitive task, it is likely that a greater proportion of the global population will become engaged in knowledge work. So people often confuses present day that the technology is going to what you call replace the true knowledge. It's never going to happen. The artificial intelligence, latest technology, robot technology is there, but still in few areas of decision making, knowledge is very, very important. Human brain is very, very important. So knowledge workers are best described as people who think for a living. Best examples are designers, architects, systems, softwares. engineers, consultants. So what did I say today? What is happening? Though technology is what you call developing a lot, but still knowledge is what you call occupying the prominent position. So knowledge has gained high significance in today's business organizations. Now after this we discuss about knowledge intensive firms and their futures. So a firm is a knowledge intensive firm in which group of competent people work in an environment where most of the work is intellectual in nature. When you say firm is a knowledge intensive firm, there the people will be working together. They form into teams. But their work nature is going to be intellectual. Nothing will be seen. Nothing will be stored over there. Just like a production companies where you find production of the goods, various kind of physical items, you never find. Best examples are what you called universities. The firms which offer services like law, accountancy, auditing firms. Understand? What is happening there? They will be sharing their information to serve, to provide what you call solutions for various kind of problems. These solutions are tailor made, remember that. So as far as knowledge intensive firms are concerned, these are the features. One is the structure. Generally you find in the knowledge intensive firms less hierarchical, more horizontal kind of structure. Most of them will be sharing their knowledge. One cannot find instructors passing on instructions. You find the environment of providing suggestions to each other. So primary source of competitive advantage for the knowledge intensive firms is nothing but the experience, their qualifications, their versatility as far as vertical, the situations whatever they faced, which is going to be the primary source of competitive advantage. Workforce. For any organization, whether that is a knowledge based organization or what you call any manufacturing kind of organization, the workforce is going to be main force. So as far as the knowledge intensive firms are concerned, the workforce is highly qualified with versatile qualifications. As far as the work processes are concerned, so much liberty one can observe in terms of knowledge intensive firms. They will provide most of the time solutions to the service kinds of industries, suggestions. Through the knowledge intensiveness, they are going to occupy prominence in the markets. So these three are called as what you called, these things are known as the knowledge intensive firms features. What is that? Structure, primary source of competitive advantage, workforce, work processes, products, services, and as well as the markets. Now we are going to discuss how a knowledge intensive firm processes are going to take place. What is a knowledge intensive firm? Group of people combines and outputting intellectual information. The first thing is knowledge creation and application. So they are going to provide customized solution to the clients. They are going to be non-routine, non-repetitive. The activities whatever one kind in the knowledge creation, knowledge intensive forms is nothing but non-routine and as well as non-repetitive. Based upon the situation, they will be changing their course of actions. A manufacturing company will be there for manufacturing a car, same repetitive routine operations you one need to perform. Machinery will perform. But when a company wants to have services of a auditor, for a manufacturing company, for a service-based company, auditor services are going to be different. What we call it, customized solutions to the clients. Knowledge codification. Coding means symbolic way conversion of the available information. Most of the times knowledge coding is very difficult because this knowledge is available in terms of what you call tacit form. But with a great difficulty, some extent the codification is possible. The last processes one can observe in the knowledge intensive forms is knowledge acquisition and sharing, which is a typical task. But essential tasks too. So these are all called knowledge intensive forms processes. So what do you find in knowledge intensive forms? So knowledge creation and application, knowledge codification will be there, and knowledge acquisition and sharing would be there. Now we'll discuss about the knowledge intensive forms and their types. What do you mean knowledge intensive forms? Group of people which helps to the what we called creation of intellectual information. So knowledge intensive forms are knowledge based organization, KBO type, knowledge intensive form, KIF, professional service forms, PSF, knowledge creating companies, KCCs. Broadly 4 categories are there. So knowledge based organization, KBOs. Any organization is simply speaking knowledge based only, whether that is a manufacturing company or a service based company, whether that is a hospital, whether that is an educational institution, whether that is a confectionery manufacturing company, whatever may be, Britannia or else what to call Usman University, whatever you consider, every organization is a knowledge based organization. So here what are the things, the different types of organizations, be it services sector, manufacturing sector, are all knowledge based organizations. Because to run any organization, what is required? Information is required. What do you call that? Knowledge. The manufacturing workers and as well as the people who works for a service industry, both of them are having what you call knowledge only. Variety information would be there. Collectively you call that all this one as a knowledge only. They need knowledge for carrying out their operations and activities such as acquiring, sharing, creating, storing, retrieving and using it. Service sector organization requires greater amount of knowledge when compared to the manufacturing organization. Overall way, if you compare with that of the manufacturing organization, in the service sector, one can consume more knowledge because everything is going to be non-routine, non-repetitive kinds of things. There are no fixed kind of activities. Hence, in the service sector, one can have more consumption of the knowledge. What are the examples for service industries? Accounting, consulting, architectural, auditing, all law forms, all this comes under what we called knowledge-based organization. This is the first type. Knowledge-intensive firms. Knowledge-intensive firms refers to those firms which make use of their experience, skills, education of its workforce for identifying solution of various problems. So in these firms one can have their day-to-day operations based upon the workers' knowledge, workers' experience, workers' skill set. Deals basically with the products which are intangible and are not goods. So knowledge intensive firms basically of what we call service type. Their products are service products, not physical products, goods. Employees are well qualified, experienced and creative in nature. So in the knowledge intensive firms one can find highly educated people, highly intellectual people. As far as their work culture is concerned, there is no standardization. Simply, the knowledge intensive firms believes in teamwork. The next one is the professional service firms. These firms provide solution to their clients with the help of knowledge of qualified personnel. Doctors are there, engineers are there, civil engineer would be there. A realtor comes for having a plan. So an organization with the help of the civil engineer, they provide a blueprint to that particular realtor to construct that big building. Workforce processes, qualified certificate in specified degrees like certified individual in human resources, in accountancy, in law and so on. What are the examples? Law, accountancy, consultancies, technical engineering, architecture, etc. The last one, organization which provide intangible solution to clients through creativity and innovative manner are known as a knowledge creating company. So what are the knowledge creating company? Investments are creativity and as well as the innovation. What are the examples? Research and development organizations, media agencies, business solution and companies. So this is what about discussion, and in the next class we continue with the rest of the topics. Thank you so much.